Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the ECMWF extended model for today's second video. This is your 30-day / 42-day extended European outlook, and I should get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say that first video release day was our 6 AM UK weather forecast. We've got a 10 to 14 day with all of the regular features on the way later on this afternoon as well. Please like, share and subscribe on all of today's videos and content. And thank you so much everybody for doing that. The GavsWeatherVids, thank you so much everyone. Right, okay, we're going to start off with the week 1 mean sea level pressure anomaly for Europe. So this takes us through the week we're currently in, 15th through 22nd of July. By the way, thank you so much to ECMWF.int for supplying the charts of the date as well. By the way, thank you so much, EC. So, this next week we'll have low pressure, or this week we'll have low pressure in the Atlantic into Western Europe. High pressure is up to the far northeast of Europe and down towards Spain and Portugal. Low pressure through much of the Med, but a lot of that could be sort of heat loads, not generating much in the way of precipitation. Here's how the 500 millibar heights are looking, with again low pressure below average heights in the Atlantic, above average heights, high pressure covering many central, eastern and also some southern parts of Europe as well. Temperature anomalies this week are cooler than average in the far west and northwest, so Ireland, large portions of the UK to western France and down towards Portugal, the far west of Spain, coming out with slightly below average temperatures. Anywhere further east of that, though, looking generally above average. The core of the warmth is over on the eastern side of Europe, where a real heat wave is going on through the Balkans, through Romania, up towards the Black Sea, into Ukraine, into southwest of Russia. There we see temperature anomalies widely between 3 and 6 degrees above average, and a few places going to 6 to 10 degrees above average. Really hot across much of eastern, southeastern Europe, and dangerously hot, I would have thought, when we get down into the southeastern part of the Mediterranean, so Greece and Turkey. You know, going to be really banging hot there if you're off for a bit of summer sunshine. But as I say, cooler in the west. Scandinavia, quite interesting, slightly cooler towards Denmark, the far south of Norway and Sweden. It actually gets warmer, in terms of the anomaly to average anyway, the further north you go. So when you get into Arctic portions of Sweden and Norway and Finland and whatnot up here, again, we're like 6 to 10 degrees above average up in the Arctic portion of Scandinavia there. Precipitation, again, also showing a northwest-southeast split across Europe, so wetter than average conditions through large portions of Scandinavia, Nordic regions, but again, into the Arctic, it's drier there. We see below countries, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, coming out look wetter than normal, and much of Ireland, the UK, and the far northwest of France, a little bit wetter there. Some parts of Portugal maybe slightly on the wet side as well. Anywhere further east of that, though, it gets progressively drier, particularly dry in the eastern part of Europe. Again, where we have the core of that heat, we will have lots of dry conditions again through the eastern part of Europe. Right, week 2 will be the 22nd, 29th of July. So next week we'll have plenty of low pressure from the Atlantic into northern Europe. But at the same time, some higher pressure starting to ridge in from the Azores into towards southern parts of England, into Ireland, into France, and possibly northern parts of Spain as well. Notice pressure lowering a little bit towards the eastern side of Europe as well. 500 millibar heights for week 2 look like that. So yet again, we've got plenty of low pressure in the North Atlantic, around Greenland, Iceland, and on Northern Europe as well. Higher pressure far south and southwest, and we bring the flow of a jet stream in from off the Atlantic. Something a little bit like that. What are the temperatures doing in week 2? So it's still pretty cool across the northwest Europe. Actually cooler maybe for many northern and western parts of Europe next week, but it is this week, to be honest. So a big cool down going on through Scandinavia, particularly Denmark, and into Norway and Sweden. Also over the Baltic Sea, into the Baltic Sea states of Latvia, Estonia and Lithuania through here. Got much of Poland, Germany, the Low Countries, and a lot of France, as well as the UK and Ireland coming out with below average temperatures. But warmth, the heat being squashed down, squeezed down into the far south of Europe through the Med, and again over into the southeastern corner. It's particularly from the Balkans to the Black Sea, going up to southwest of Russia, where it looks like we've got the core of the warmth again next week. But really quite a cool week to come, if that's right, in the north and the west of Europe. And as far as week 2 precipitation goes, so we see a change here, much wetter than average in the far north. So Norway, Sweden, Finland, and down to Baltic Sea states, Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, coming out significantly wetter than average. At the same time, though, it's turning drier in the west. So Ireland, the UK, France, Spain, Portugal, the Low Countries, and Germany are coming out rather drier than average. Into the Med, large portions are looking pretty dry, especially through the central and western bowl. Dryish towards Greece, maybe one or two heavy thundershower being sparked off by the heat and humidity over there. And like the Balkans to the Black Sea, there we see near and all rainfall. So just implying things may be turning slightly more unsettled in that eastern portion of Europe next week. Welcome relief, I would have thought. Week 3 will be the 29th of July to 5th of August. So not much change really. Low pressure continues in the North Atlantic. Higher pressure to the south of the UK and Ireland in towards France, Germany, and the Low Countries. Some low pressure maybe in the northeast. Still is weakening a little bit though as we're going further out. 500 millibar heights look like that. So a ridge extending from the Azores high into the western portion of Europe. We have a look at temperatures for week 3. Temperature anomaly. Now, still it's a little bit on the cool side, I have to say, for much of northern and western Europe. It is warming up again in the extreme north of Sweden and Norway and whatnot. But really, from Ireland and the UK to the Baltic Sea states, we sway just here. Overall, it could still be rather on the cool side. Down across southern parts of Europe, they're looking quite warm there. Spain, Portugal, the Med, Italy, including the Holiday Islands, Corsica, Sardinia, the Balearic Islands, Mallorca, North Ibiza, and toward the Greek islands as well, and to Turkey, the Black Sea, largely above average temperatures through those. So if you're off for a early August a holiday into the Med, it looks pretty good. And as far as precipitation goes, again, we see it's largely drier than average in many of these western regions, but wetter than average in the far north of the Atlantic and into northern parts of Europe. Overall, I think most areas, though, looking relatively dry there, just the temperatures are struggling a little bit. Right, week 4 will be the 5th into the 12th of August. Not much change. Low pressure continuing in the North Atlantic into far north Europe. Higher pressure still there or thereabouts around France and the Low Countries, Germany and parts of Ireland, England, Wales, and maybe a heat low down towards some southern parts of Europe. 500 millibar heights for week 4 looking like that. All very westerly. Low pressure towards Iceland. High pressure from the Azores in towards west of Europe, and that keeps the wind flow and jet stream and whatnot in from a westerly direction. Temperature anomalies are again warmest across much of southern Europe, particularly including the Med. Cooler, not necessarily as cool as it will be in week 2, for example, compared to average, but nevertheless, still a little bit of a struggle with those temperatures, probably because we're bringing in like a westerly flow, really, and that's in winter, of course, that can be very mild setup, but in summer, that's actually going to be a cooler wind direction, and largely dry though. So yes, looking pretty dry through most parts of Europe under that area of high pressure, just the extreme north standing out as being perhaps rather wetter. Well, that's your 30-day look ahead done, but let's go for weeks 5 and 6 data before we go, because why not? So week 5 will be the 12th to the 19th of August. Not much change, still that ridge hanging around across the west of Europe, still low pressure in the North Atlantic, out of the 500 millibar heights looking. Still suggesting, quite a bit of high pressure around the western part of Europe as well. Temperature is gradually lifting up, so becoming warmer as August progresses, and still largely on the drier side. And then lastly, week 6 will be the 19th to 26th of August. So this week showed the high pressure changing its position, maybe going up towards Scandinavia, which could begin to pull wind into more of an easterly. If this is right, I think for much of northern Western Europe, August heralds the best prospects of, the summer anyway, compared to what we've had so far. 500 millibar heights, placing quite a big ridge across much of Western Europe. Remember, this is a long way out, though. It is 6 weeks away. Temperature anomalies generally quite warm in most areas, and precipitation anomalies. It's a weakening signal, but still looking reasonably dry. So, after what's been a real struggle with this summer for northern and Western Europe, particularly Western Europe, it looks like things might be on the up as we go into August if you want some drier and warmer weather. Early days on that, let's put the collar down. Early days on that. So we're going to have to wait and see. But, the trend might be there for something a little bit dry and warmer for Western Europe into August, which will tie in very nicely with the GavsWeatherVids summer forecast, of course. But let's wait and see. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Right, okay. Well, that's your 30-day extended European outlook. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, subscribe. We'll do it all over again next Tuesday. And we'll have a look at this model once more on Saturday morning with a UK and Ireland focus video. Remember, any forecast beyond 5-7 days comes with big health warnings and large pinches of salt attached. That's always the caveat. We're going to be back a little bit later on. We are 10 to 14 day. I shall see you later for that one. For this one, though, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.